私が恋人になれるわけないじゃん。無理無理。無理じゃなかった。
On the other side of the phone, Ajisai is in full panic mode after hearing Satsuki mention being lovers. Before Renako can even explain, however, her phone is already in Satsuki's firm grasp, and the call is ended. Devastated by the loss of Ajisai, Renako asks why she's here. Apparently, she's been calling Renako, but she wasn't answering because she was playing around with Ajisai, so Satsuki just got her address and came over. Hearing this, Renako's little sister releases a grim aura, looking upon Renako with disgust at the fact that she was ignoring her lover. Renako explains her frivolous act, and her sister clicks her tongue in response. Before she leaves the room, she leaves a final message for Renako to reconsider how she lives life, and so she exits with a slam, and Satsuki can't help but ask if she just witnessed a sisterly fight. Suddenly, Renako's phone starts buzzing like crazy. It appears Ajisai is itching for an answer about the situation. Renako obliges, albeit with lies, and her heart becomes heavier for it. Satsuki makes a sly comment on the frivolous nature of Renako, but she doesn't get it. She proceeds to ask why exactly Satsuki has come, but of course, the answer is pretty clear. Satsuki has come to practice gaming. Thankfully for her, Renako doesn't mind and is more absorbed in the fact that she's now in her bedroom. As Satsuki is setting things up, Renako points out she's plugging the cable wrong. Being the gamer, she offers her cable plugging services, to which Satsuki accepts. Now standing around, she comments on how clean the room is. Renako can't really take it as a compliment since it's her mom who cleans up. Suddenly, Satsuki mentions how this must have been where Mai assaulted her, prompting Renako to spit out her imaginary water. Satsuki makes a good point though, saying it should be fine since everything's been left out in the open. Plus, that incident is the reason things became a problem for her in the first place. As Renako is looking at her say all this, she almost catches a glimpse of Satsuki's precious place, causing her neck to swivel at a dangerous speed, but at least the console is set up and it's now time to game. With Satsuki getting close though, Renako gets red. Satsuki asks if something's wrong. Did Renako perhaps think she was about to be assaulted like what happened with Mai? Putting the controller down, Satsuki closes the distance as she admits she hasn't thought about this strategy. Instead of this child's play, she just needs to make Renako want to be with her more than she wants Mai and her to make up. Understandably, Renako starts panicking as Satsuki starts closing in. Things are progressing dangerously and Renako can only verbally scream out as it all continues. And then, they kiss. But just as quickly they separate with Satsuki keeping her finger on her lips. Renako is shocked. She didn't expect Satsuki to actually go through with it. Renako immediately starts panicking more coherently, fearing that Satsuki took another incriminating photo to threaten someone with. Out of character, with a look of a fragile maiden, Satsuki simply says she wanted to test something. Renako can't believe what she just said, her energy draining from her body. It turns out Satsuki had another thought about her, and it happened the day after they made the wager for Renako's life. Thinking about it rationally, it was pretty rash of her to choose Renako as her partner for life. Satsuki continues to say how she was blinded by her rivalry, and she's been reflecting on that, but as she goes to grasp at Renako's hand, she confesses to another problem. She doesn't know how she feels about Renako. Satsuki's serious tone makes Renako reflect. It would be nice if they were friends and thinking about what else they could be doing if she wanted more. Well, things were getting spicy in her head. Snapping out of it, she suddenly rejects her sexuality. Satsuki can only look on at the pervert before her. Renako defends herself by saying it was she who did the kissing.
Do you actually like me?
Satsuki simply asks, leaving Renako stumped. Instead, she loudly asks what Satsuki thinks of her. This causes Renako to suddenly catch her bearings. How could a loser girl like her ask such a thing? What if she professes her love and assaults her right then and there? As she's preparing for the worst, Satsuki suddenly says she's not really sure. Renako is shocked, as if Satsuki didn't say these exact words earlier. She's simply unsure how she feels about Renako. Seeing as this is her first time getting involved with someone like her, it's no surprise. Renako is curious what she means by this, and Satsuki asks if she really wants to know. Twiddling her hair, Satsuki speaks up.
You're a weirdo.
Thinking how she's been trying her best, Renako refutes this accusation with a robotic response. But as Satsuki points out, she's a girl who just lives way too desperately. She's reckless and acts blindly. However, maybe Satsuki can share in the reckless bit. Putting up her controller, she earnestly asks for Renako's help in defeating Mai and learning the way of the game. Renako quickly accepts. In truth, she shouldn't be helping out an opponent, but Satsuki being here, wanting to play with her, it all just makes her feel very happy. As they go on though, it turns out Satsuki isn't as talented as a certain blondie in gaming. The road looks long and hard if Satsuki is to achieve victory. As Renako parrots away instructions for her to get better, a moment of realization hits her. If she is to get better, it looks like Satsuki will have to stay overnight.
私が恋人になれるわけないじゃん。無理無理じゃなかった。
Fresh out of the bath, Satsuki is still at Renako's house, now ready to rest after a day of gaming. What spicy situations will be happening this time, I wonder? Whatever the case, it's time for Renako's turn in the bath, but not before getting her fill of some Satsuki legs, which gets Renako pretty flustered in the head. Despite Satsuki's seductive form, however, Renako couldn't really reject her desire to stay the night for the purpose of improving. Similarly, her mom had no reason to refuse, seeing as it's pretty rare for Renako to have anyone over. And so, here we are, with Satsuki sitting pretty and Renako unable to keep her eyes off of her. Also, she's still in denial mode. Even as she's already alone, bathing, Renako can't help but think about how she's using the very same bathwater Satsuki had just used, which is strange to think about, considering this isn't the first time. Snapping herself out of her lewd trance, Renako used Splash, and it was mildly effective. Now she can contemplate Satsuki's situation and how hopeless it is for her to try and win with only a week of gaming training. Renako starts thinking about the possibilities if only she had just a little more time. But what is this line of thinking? However you look at it, it's more beneficial for Renako if Satsuki were to lose. Just as these thoughts were running through her head, a little sister appeared. Is this a revenge ambush for being sleazy? Unexpectedly, Renako's sister suddenly says, "Sorry." Apparently, Satsuki had come up to talk to her just a bit ago. Because of what happened in the previous chapter, Satsuki was worried whether the sisters were actually fighting. Hearing this, Renako was worried that word of her being a loose woman got out. But the little sister continues and reveals she ended up learning about how Renako is just helping Satsuki out. She then shares how Satsuki earnestly apologized for causing a misunderstanding, a fact that has Renako surprised. But just as she was finding peace, Satsuki apparently also said it was Mai who was Renako's true love, causing a bath outburst. At the end of this, though, Renako's little sister is also earnestly apologizing for how she got the wrong idea of her dear sister. Hearing this, Renako acts a bit bashful, admitting it was also due to her own fault. Funny enough, her sister readily agrees with that fact, but just as quickly, the little sister returns to serious mode and shares what Satsuki said about her own experience of fighting with family and the importance of making up. Main takeaway, Renako has been amazing ever since joining high school, so much so that her little sister can't help but be happy, especially with her gaining a friend as great as Satsuki. All this made Renako quite blush and feel embarrassed. Sometime after the bath, Renako and Satsuki are getting ready to go to sleep. Satsuki remarks how she can still see the game screen even as she closes her eyes. Getting excited over sharing her gamer culture, she tells Satsuki they'll be learning how to hit moving targets up next, which Satsuki can't imagine ever doing. This prompts Satsuki to ask Renako how she ended up learning such moves. Renako then gives us a gem of long-haired Renako from back in the day, not having anything else to do but play. This makes Satsuki think she must have really enjoyed playing, which is a foreign word to an addict like Renako, but she rolls with it. It was less happy and fluffy enjoyment and more of an enjoyment from releasing all her pent-up aggression. She may be gamer trash, but at least she's good gamer trash. In response to this, Satsuki lets out a chuckle. With an almost loving look in her eyes, she happily gazes at the Renako she's starting to understand. With a blush on her face, Renako is confused by what she means. Satsuki shares that, despite how harmless Renako may seem, she still fights to the death when cornered, as she does in games. Renako retorts that the only reason she ended up like that is cause she's bad at reading the room. But this predicament they're both in is a fine example of it. Bringing up something as outrageous as a video game tournament, Satsuki doesn't exactly dislike this part of Renako. Hearing this, Renako suddenly starts giggling to herself like some deranged creature. Satsuki starts to say something, and Renako instinctively apologizes for letting the compliments get to her head. But it turns out, Satsuki just wanted to thank her. Being dense, Renako replies that it's just a fair trade given how Satsuki helped with her studies. That's not what Satsuki wanted to thank her for, though. All of a sudden, Satsuki earnestly thanks her with all the formality in the world, thanking her for entering into her dismal life. Letting out a yawn as she's filled with thanks, Satsuki adds another, thanking her as well for giving her the chance to challenge Mai. Now this is confusing, as Satsuki has seemingly been constantly challenging her. As it turns out, this is the first time the both of them entered into something totally new for the sake of the challenge. Mai taking this seriously has Satsuki feeling strange and new. What is this feeling? Well, she admits it's the feeling of fun. Renako can't help but think how amazing it is to give something your all and to have a friend who does the same. After fully accepting the thanks, the two finally head off to sleep. Renako again thinks back to how amazing the friendship between Mai and Satsuki is. Now more than ever, she wants to be true friends with Satsuki. Also, she can't have Satsuki and Mai keep on fighting. Surely it hurts Satsuki deep inside, just as it hurt Renako when she fought with Mai. Heading off to sleep, Renako resolves to win the competition, and just like that, the day of the match arrived. But unbeknownst to our girls going into battle, two angels are gossiping about their very situation, and just like that, the Ajikaho pairing is born.
私が恋人になれるわけないじゃん。無理無理。無理じゃなかった。
Back at school, the recent test results are being returned. Thanks to Renako's study arc, she's pleased to see some improvement in her score. This also reminds her of how Mai and Satsuki usually start comparing each other's scores right about now, but alas, they still don't see eye to eye. It's only natural considering their real competition is just now coming up. Ajisai also asked Renako about it, curious how things will play out. While Renako was nervous before, all that's left now is to do what she always does and play. With a crooked smile and broken confidence, Renako does her best to tell Ajisai everything's gonna be alright. Strange, all she did was try to be reassuring like Mai. Is it possible she's actually nervous? Perfectly timed, Kaho suddenly starts patting Renako in the back, giving some much-needed comfort. No matter how much she may fail in having Mai and Satsuki make up, she can always rely on Ajisai and Kaho to be there for her as friends. This realization of friendship has Renako glowing. Ajisai even doubles down and says the two of them could come up with another plan together if all else fails. But not missing a beat in bringing her down, Kaho mentions it would be in her best interest to resolve the issue today as their summer trip is already coming up tomorrow. The pressure is on for Renako, and now Mai and Satsuki are on the way out and ready for the challenge. Will luck be enough to carry poor Renako through this and onto a magical summer vacation? Sometime after, the gaming trio are now in front of Mai's building, marking the second time Renako has been here. Renako also expresses worry about Satsuki getting proper rest alongside her hardcore gaming training, but Satsuki reassures her she's had ample enough rest. In fact, she has enough energy to read Renako's mind, with no worries. Seeing this, Mai gets the sudden urge to also read Renako's mind.
You wish Satsuki wasn't here so you could kiss and hug me right now. Am I right?
Not even close.
Mai pushes the joke further by praising Renako for being open to exhibitionism. Thankfully, the she-butler cuts them off as they've reached their destination. Welcoming the two of them in, Mai asks Renako if she likes what she sees, a gamer's dream room for a console battle. And as expected, Renako is drooling at the sight, so much so that she repeatedly professes her love, even towards Mai's face. As you can imagine, Mai is loving how things are going, but Satsuki naturally butts in to end the charade. They can continue things after everything's done. For now, time to put their butts in these custom-fitted seats. Getting a feel of the fancy rig, Renako remarks that she could probably ask Mai to get them the PC version of the game they'll be playing. What's the difference, you may ask? Well, Renako has a novel of an answer for that question, but it really goes down to just frame rates. Whatever the case, Renako realized she said way too much, revealing her dark middle school past. Well, at least the display made Satsuki realize just how much she has changed after all. Though the pitying look is not something Renako's a fan of. Not that my spoiling her is any better, but whatever the case, everyone's just about ready and the battle is about to start. If Mai wins, Renako will marry her. If Satsuki wins, she'll be the one to marry Renako. And if Renako wins, well, the two will just make up. Pretty unfair now that she thinks about it, but there's no time to waste. The game starts now. In the game world, Renako has just spawned and is now looking for a gun. She thinks she hears something, but then realizes she forgot her headphones, and there's no point turning up the volume since the other two are right beside her. All of a sudden, though, a wild Mai appears, hitting Renako over the head with a crowbar. She can't believe it. Mai has just eliminated her that easily. Back in real life, Renako is in utter disbelief while Mai is smiling, carefree as usual. Renako asks Mai directly how it turned out this way. What follows is Mai explaining that she basically used both probability and the power of luck to just bum rush a potential fresh spawn. Considering Mai's great luck, everything worked out for her and she found Renako in the end. While Renako may be better at games, none are better than Mai in thinking about Renako's entire being, gaming habits included. With this defeat, Renako has no choice but to simply watch the other two battle it out, trying to gain as much info as she can while spectating. And as it turns out, Satsuki's training is paying off nicely as she's showing pretty good moves. Not that Satsuki wants to hear anything about it mid-game, despite that Mai still takes the cake in the end. Just like that, Mai is one win away from winning it all. To go along with this, Mai even lays out her full-on game plan of what she and Renako will do after as a married couple. The in-depth description of their married life is pretty effective psychological warfare against Renako. With the second round coming up though, Renako must win. On the other hand, Mai seems unfazed by the pressure, as she simply smiles and scoffs. Renako is annoyed, but Mai says this is simply one of the ways she's fighting. Renako can't do anything but focus on her own game. As she plays, thoughts of her glorious revenge ring through her mind. Bang! Renako shoots at someone in the corner, and based on Satsuki's reaction, it seems like it's her. Behind the cover of stone, Satsuki is repeatedly bombarded by gunshots. It seems Mai has also joined in on the fight. In the middle of their fight, Mai proposes to Satsuki that they team up to take down the gamer, Renako. Naturally, Satsuki refuses, as Mai would likely take her out right after. Mai tries to mock her for this, but Satsuki says she'll win in the end after choosing the path of highest probability. Mai retorts that gaming isn't the same as her studies, and this leads to Satsuki feeling a bit confused. Mai starts to talk about a probability problem involving a wide open path and a narrow kill zone. If you don't know where the enemy is, which path would you take? Of course, the answer with the safer probability would be the wide path, but the true harsh answer is simply the path where the enemy is not. Just like that, Satsuki is down. Renako is starting to feel some real pressure now. Standing victorious at her kill, Mai starts monologuing like a villain. Luckily for Renako, this makes for a perfect opportunity to shoot her. And also just like that, Renako is victorious. Mai can only brew in slight shame at the downfall in her antics. As things stand, Satsuki is the only one without a win. In time with this, Satsuki stands with a clank.
I'm going to the bathroom.
Go ahead.
Mai gives her permission with a flare of arrogance. The two are now left alone as Satsuki exits the room with only shame in her wake.
私が恋人になれるわけないじゃん。無理無理。無理じゃなかった。
Evidently, the situation was just a bit too much for the ice-cold princess. But in Mai's point of view, she simply did all she could to turn things to her favor. If she had taken it easy on Satsuki, would she really accept that as a match? That realization also makes Renako contemplate. It turns out Mai is indeed the perfect pairing to Satsuki's competitiveness. Nevertheless, Mai wishes Satsuki was more carefree. Renako remarks that's what makes Satsuki herself though. Thankfully, the servant Hanatori comes in with some wonderful tea for a break in the drama. The piece gets Renako thinking. Mai really is a wonderful person to have thought of things so differently, but very quickly, her amazement is broken as Mai takes the compliment too far into the romance side. Suddenly, Mai starts bringing up how it was ironically Satsuki who showed Mai the meaning of freedom. Renako asks what she means by this. Mai only says it was from a long time ago. Mai even remarks it's a wonder why Satsuki is so fixated with her, while Renako turns the exact same question around as Mai is quite the stalker herself. Mai counters back with extreme love, leaving Renako blushing as she bashfully continues her break. After the tea time is done, the two notice Satsuki is yet to return. Mai suggests they give her some time alone, but when Renako sees Mai's worried face, she quickly stands to take matters into her own hands. As Renako walks, Mai can see the resolve in Renako's face. Suddenly turning around, Renako declares how she'll be just like Mai when she ran off to the rooftop. This is pretty funny though, considering that ended with the two of them falling down a building. Despite that, it was an act that made Renako happy. Seeing her lover's determination, Mai smiles and gives her permission, accepting that this matter is something she can't fix herself. After making her way down the hall, Renako is finally in front of the bathroom door. She then calls out to Satsuki, but doesn't get an answer back immediately. When Satsuki does eventually respond, she apologizes for worrying her and makes up an excuse that she was just thinking about some strategies for the next round. She then shares her grievance that she wishes she had a bit more time to prepare, something Renako agrees with given how much she's already improved.
But I still can't beat Mai.
Satsuki shows her true feelings and she reveals that even during preparations for the exam, she was still working part-time. This was because she didn't want to go back on her word to her mother in regards to helping out financially. For Renako, it's now clear why Satsuki had eye bags coming into all this. Exams, work, and the competition, she had a lot on her plate. Satsuki is truly an amazing person compared to Renako. She continues on though, saying how it's likely that she did all that just to give herself an excuse to avoid facing reality. It's all depressing talk, and Renako is hurting inside as she's unable to stop it. She simply stares at the door, separating her from her friend. Renako thinks back to when Satsuki earnestly said she was having fun. It's clear to her that her initial plans were foolish. Winning this competition here is not a clear-cut way to make the two make up. Even if she were to win, Satsuki will never be able to view Mai as an equal again. They won't be able to return to their status of friendship. Realizing this, Renako simply can't accept it.
You can't give up just yet, Satsuki-san.
Renako's words of encouragement surprise Satsuki. A motivational shonen speech is going full throttle in Renako's head. She may not be able to change her middle school past, but she can damn sure change what happens next. She gives it her all, telling Satsuki that this one match may be the difference maker she's been waiting for. Satsuki is still not sold, however, but whatever the case, that doesn't matter to Renako. It doesn't matter that Mai is as amazing as she is, Satsuki can't give up. With every being of her heart, Renako gives the words of her life, hoping to give Satsuki the push she needs to move forward, something she knows is a priceless help. Satsuki answers back with hopelessness, but Renako returns with logic, saying it was she who dragged her in this in the first place. She can't give up now after everything they've done together. The truth had been in front of Renako the whole time. The two of them were never all that different. The two of them were partners, even now they're friends. This is why she can't have Satsuki giving up. Satsuki must stay being Satsuki. Stay arrogant, stay stubborn, stay standing strong against the force that is Mai. That's who Satsuki is, and that's the Satsuki Renako loves. Suddenly, the door slams open from Renako's banging, causing her to free fall into a sitting Satsuki. With the two realizing they're in a gag manga, Satsuki does her best to catch the falling girl. With Renako now in her arms, Satsuki questions what's going on inside her head. Meanwhile, Renako can only sit still like a child being berated on her lap. Speaking of, the two realize the intimacy of this position, and to Renako's wonder, Satsuki is not letting go. It turns out Satsuki was in deep thought, having a realization about Mai's weakness. Just as Renako is trying to understand what she means, Satsuki hits her with the same arrogant look and words she dearly loves. Renako apologizes with a horrified look, but Satsuki simply gives her a surprisingly loving look. And that's not all she gives her. Bang! Satsuki leans in for a kiss. Renako is left red and quickly explodes into panic mode. Satsuki, though, simply says she thought it would rejuvenate her. Now it's Satsuki's turn to wonder why Renako is still clinging on like an affectionate dog. But just like an affectionate owner, it's Satsuki who isn't letting go, and so Renako must wiggle out. After the struggle, Renako is still in wonder about what exactly happened as Satsuki just gives her thanks. As she walks off, Satsuki starts talking about crushing Mai's spirit, making Renako a bit worried. Nevertheless, the Ice Queen is back, and back with a vengeance. Back at the room, Mai welcomes the return of her opponent. Satsuki quips she has thankfully thought up of a new strategy to face Mai with. Mai, though, is more interested in what happened in the bathroom, seeing as how her lover is now quite sweaty. Satsuki then reveals she was actually getting physical in there, with no one else but her beloved Renako. The suggestive words and the devious look has Renako worrying for her precious friendships, also thinking such simple words won't fluster Mai all that much. But how wrong she was, as Mai is absolutely shook to her core. Mai starts trying to salvage her own sanity by asking if it was a simple hug, but Satsuki holds nothing back as she reveals they full-on kissed. She even drags in Renako to confirm reality. Mai's eyes are horrified by the sin in front of her. Renako can only close her eyes to the chaos and run away from the problems in front of her.
Game start.
Rewinding to when Renako was getting the squeeze treatment, Hanatori could only hear the loud screaming, not knowing the love drama going on.
私が恋人になれるわけないじゃん。無理無理。無理じゃなかった。
In an unknown place, sleepy Renako is rubbing her eyes as she tries to get her wits about her. But suddenly, a familiar angelic voice calls out, "It's Aji Sai!" And she's talking about how they're on a shrine visit date at the start of the year. This understandably confuses Renako as it is only July in her head. Her head doesn't matter though. What matters is answering Ajisai's question and saying her New Year's wish. And what else could it be besides wanting to stay friends forever? As the two approach, Renako catches a glimpse of the money box, and so she excitedly calls out to her friend Ajisai. But no, it was her Kaho who answered the call. Now Renako is in trouble for thinking of another girl while on a date with this cute goblin. In fact, she's in a lot of trouble. Send help. Renako is doubly confused, but this can't be a dream given how real it all feels. But without rest, now it's Mai who's side by side with Renako. No, it's Satsuki who's clutching hard at her prey's neck. Renako can only wonder what in the world is going on as she's tugged on like a rope. As she gets dizzier and dizzier, her newfound harem of women all fight for her attention and love.
I belong only to myself.
She screams out. Suddenly, she's back in the real world after having awoken from a nap on the couch. Her little sister doesn't delay in asking what she's screaming about. Renako can only admit she dreamed that she was popular, which gets harsh judgment from the little sister. Little does she know, that dream is coming pretty close to reality very soon.
All right, pair up, everyone.
Danger! Danger! Our clique has 5 people. If anyone's gonna be left out, it's me. You're with me, Amori. Satsuki-san! Why'd you step in to be my partner, Satsuki-san?
I just didn't want to partner with Otsuka Mai. She doesn't know how to hold back, and I can't keep up. It's exhausting.
I see.
Boo.
私が恋人になれるわけないじゃん。無理無理。無理じゃなかった。
Did that leave you hanging? Check out our other works here, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.